5 games under your belt here. What are you seeing from this hockey club?
I think I'm seeing a lot of positives in our group. Obviously, we're not quite where we want to be, collectively as a group, but there's a lot of positive signs. Especially last night, the way we competed, we played against a good hockey team, and right down to the wire. And the guys were supporting pucks, winning battles, and that's the biggest thing, just winning those one-on-one battles, throughout the course of the night.
Where does a player create good habits? Is it both on the practice ice and during games?
I think you're always trying to create those good habits. I think the players are creatures of habit, and if you're able to instill those good practice habits and stop on pucks and make good plays, in practice, so that correlates into the game. And obviously, the game, you're playing every other night, and practices are limited, so you want to carry those good habits into each game as well.
How drastic change, late in the season, how drastic or dramatic can you change things?
You can change some subtle things. I mean, I think the players at this level are all very intelligent players, and they understand the game probably more so than we do, because they're experiencing that firsthand all the time. So we haven't changed a lot, but I think you can make some changes and subtle changes. We've made a few of them to make our team a little bit better in different areas, and so when you examine what type of players we have and where we are in the standings, we have the liberty to make a few changes as we see fit. So I think that's the advantage too.
Big challenge tomorrow, obviously, against another team that is fighting for its playoff lives. Is desperation and intensity just two things that you hope to get naturally?
Well, we'd like to get that. It's tough to manufacture that in our situation, but they're all professionals. I think we've done a really great job. Mark has done a really great job of putting in place some goals and some focal points, and each player, I think, wants to atone for the season that's not great. And when you look at the teams we're playing against, they're all in situations where they're in the hunt, and I think that makes it exciting. And if you call it a bit of a spoiler in that sense, so be it. But we've got we've got the work and we've got the determination. We haven't got the results that we wanted, but I think we've been close and in every game, and I think that's the difference. We just got to get to the next level and put in place a foundation that hopefully will stick to the identity of what this organization and team will be about in the future. This is actually, Marty and I were talking, and Marty Riemann and I were talking about this rink because it reminded him a little of McGill with the age of the building and the history. And when I coached with Mark in Switzerland, this was what a lot of the rinks were like. The older rinks are a lot like this, with the concrete end zones where you stand and enjoy the game as a real fan. And then on the ice surface, a lot of guys got lost behind the net because there's an extra 15 feet, so that was entertaining.
10 days into a new role, I guess, taking care of defense. How did the transition been for you?
Well, I ran the defense in my prior experience with Mark, so I told the guys, I said, bear with me for about the first 20 minutes until I get my feet under my thoughts, and it's actually. It's been really good because we have an excellent group of people on the back end, and that's what makes the difference, is quality people. And they're very, I always say that the defense compared to the forwards are a much easier group to look after because they're very conscientious about their game and about both ends of the rink. So it's always good in that regard, and they think the game really well. And I'm not saying that's a negative to the forwards, but they're a smaller group and they're more together. And that allows us to have some good conversations and some insightful observations about the game.
How impressed are you with Brady Kitcher?
Yeah, I think it's so refreshing that old school of player that he's that blend of physicality and offensive ability, and his commitment to working every shift. It brings energy to the entire group, and his willingness to want to get better every day has been fantastic from a coach's aspect to work with. I got to see him at the rookie tournament. The thing that impressed me the most about him was the fact that he was such a high draft pick, and a lot of times players will try to be something they're not, especially in a rookie tournament. You want to put your best foot forward and maybe do something you shouldn't. But Brady was confident in his identity as a player, and he played to his identity. He was heavy. He made simple plays. He went to the net hard. He competed, and that just carried on into main camp and into the preseason. And you're seeing him getting better and better, more consistent every game now.
You were brought on by Guy, so he let go. How tough is that personally for coaching?
It is very difficult. I've been through these situations before, obviously, in my prior experience, but it's tough because things go on at such a fast pace at this level that you really don't have a time for a breather just to think back and reflect and to see, possibly what you could have done better and how you could have made the situation better. So you reflect about your own experience and what you brought to the table, and if that really hurt his position as the head coach. But it's tough right now because you're on the treadmill, as you know, and once we get done the season, obviously you think back and you say, well, what could we have done better? And I haven't had a chance to really chat with him since we have been since the change occurred. So once I get a little bit of time, I'll talk to him and see where he's at. And his thoughts are probably in a different world now too, so that makes a difference for him.
Going back to Boston on the bench.
It was a little different, obviously, being behind the bench, but the atmosphere was great. I thought it was great for especially our young players to play in an atmosphere like that against a team that has heavy sticks, that plays a hard game, and I thought we really settled in after the first 10 minutes and competed and battled, and we're right there with them.
Mark, is there anything to you?
Yes.
Not during the game. Nothing. No.
No chirping?
No chirping. He knows better.